Hi there, I'm Jerry Haid. I'm here to share with you a piece that I did recently at a Story Slam event in Old Montreal, at the Storytellers of Canada, Contour du Canada event in the Café du Roy in Old Montreal. The footage was shot by friend and fellow storyteller Danica Laura and tells part of the story of the role of antlers in the sex life of moose, which is taken from this book of mine. The scene opens as I'm up on stage pointing at a moose head that happened to be in the cafe, and the rest follows. Of that creature, the first thing I saw when I walked in the room. I'm a wildlife vet, I'm interested in the moose, or in young. Now, a friend of mine, called Tony Bubenik, came to this country having survived the Nazis in Germany and the Russians in Czechoslovakia, because that's where he was born. And he had studied the role of antlers in the sex life of deer. And he had established that deer know precisely how much antler they have on their heads by a clever experiment in Yugoslavia, in which he built a corral with very high walls and one gate. And he reduced the size of the gate every day by 2 centimeters on each side. And the deer at first would go through no trouble, and then they had to go through like you would move furniture if you were turning a bed or a chair in a room from one room to another. And eventually they took one look at the new gate, which was 2 centimeters on each side smaller, and they said, I don't want to go. So when Tony came to Canada, he took this experiment to the next level. Now his wife Mary was a biologist as well. Tony built a dummy of a moose head and 3 sets of antlers. And you don't need to have 4 legs on one of these dummies. A deer will believe you if you just have 2 legs and the head and the antlers. And the first thing he did was put on a very small set of antlers, even smaller than those, just a little guy. And he walked out into a clearing in Ontario where he knew there was a bull moose that had taken up residence. And he behaved correctly. He did not confront the moose. He turned sideways and he walked in a subordinate fashion, and the big bull in the clearing lifted its head, took one look, and said, and went back to eating in the pond. Then Tony did the next step of his research. He put on the most enormous set of antlers you can imagine. Twice the world record. Fantastic. And he walked out into the clearing, and the bull, this is all on Super 8 video, and I've seen the video. The bull moose lifted its head and said, uh-oh, and left, ghosting into the trees. And then Tony did something that only somebody who had lost their presence of mind, or somebody who knew exactly what was going to happen, did. He put on a set of antlers that matched, more or less, the bull moose in the clearing. And, of course, we know what happened. Because the bull moose took one look and thought, you, and started to come towards Tony, looking like one of those early horror movie Frankenstein walkers, sort of very stilted, very structured, challenging walk, rocking his antlers from side to side to show off those enormous palms. Now, for some reason at this point, Mary's filming technique began to deteriorate. And you can see the film wobbling a bit, and then Mary gets behind a tree, and the moose gets closer, and then Tony drops the dummy. He took this experiment one step further when he put on those big antlers again, and he approached a rutting pair of moose, a bull and a cow, and on 2 occasions the cow abandoned her consort and offered herself for copulation. And all this does go to prove that really is true that size matters.